My name is Cliff Schmidt, and I'm the Executive Director of Literacy Bridge.
And I am Bayor. I am the Country Director for Ghana Literacy Bridge.
Trina, Gorman, and the Program Director.
Could you just explain us what this Literacy Bridge project is about?
Sure. What we're doing is helping people in rural areas to be able to improve their health and education and income through knowledge, just by learning some new technique. Learning how to recognize diseases and take care of their children's health, learning how to improve their crop production, things like that, and focusing on getting that knowledge from local sources in the local language. And we do that through this device that we call the Talking Book. And it's a little audio computer that allows people to record information, categorize it, play it back, and even give copies to other devices.
Cool. So what's your experiences in Ghana so far?
So in Ghana, this has been working very fine. The paper we presented at ICTD was the results from a pilot study we did in January, from January to August 2009.
Oh, cool.
And this has been working fine. We've seen a very tremendous need for this to help facilitate knowledge sharing, and then also help facilitate agricultural production in rural areas.
Mm-hmm. And how is this distributed, this Literacy Bridge audio recorder?
Just through our local partners.
Okay.
So what typically happens is an organization, either a government agency or an NGO, they approach us and say that they deliver information to people in rural areas, but they think they could reach more people, and more importantly, that they could cause them to that their information would be more effective, that people would start adopting these new practices if they had these devices where someone could listen to it as many times as they need and when they need it, rather than just trying to remember something that they may have heard from a visit to their village a year before.
Yeah. So you can transfer recorded audio from one to another.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's cool. And in which countries are you operating, or where do you want to expand to?
We've really gotten very deep into Ghana for the last really 3.5 years now. But we have partners who have talking books and are trying them out in small scales right now in Burkina Faso, Kenya, Uganda, Nigeria, India, Bangladesh. So those are the ones off the top of my head. South Africa.
Okay, great. So at this conference, you're trying to find partners, or mainly?
We really came here just to let people know what we were seeing, the results that we were getting, and also to learn from what other people are doing in some similar areas, because one of the most important parts of this project is the content, the quality of the content, the type of content, and how that content can be shared among projects. I think is an interesting thing for us to be able to talk about here.
So the local language is key, probably.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so how did you personally get into this area of ICT4D, or how did you think of this project? How did you get this idea, actually?
Well, I guess I'll take that one then. It was, for me personally, it was working with projects like One Laptop Per Child. So back 4 or 5 years ago, I was just informally volunteering some time to help them out. But I was concerned that taking that to Ghana, which is what I did, that where that would go from there, I wasn't so sure, because the government's budget on education was not possible to be able to apply that to use laptops for every child. So I was just thinking of, is there some very low-cost audio device that might be able to make some difference on literacy for children? So I haven't talked about that yet, but this project actually started around having an interactive device where a child can listen to someone's reading of a book in, again, any language, any book, and even have vocabulary words defined through audio hyperlinks, or have multiple choice quizzes where they can get feedback to see if they really understood what they read. And so that's actually what we started with. But along the way, we heard these health and agriculture organizations saying, why can't we just record the information that we have, the knowledge that we have on these same devices, and make that available to people who aren't literate? And rather than thinking the only answer is to take every one of the nearly 1 billion illiterate adults and have them become literate before they can learn things in new ways, why not have a device like this so they could learn it in an oral form, a form that they're used to?
Okay.
Yeah, me personally, I am from a rural place. I've lived all my life in a rural village. And the village I come from, over 80% of the people there are just subsistence farmers. A few are just teachers or maybe nurses. So seeing this helping people in agriculture was very tremendous to me, and I thought it was a very worthy cause to support us, and maybe I could never have a chance to do something as meaningful as that to support the community I come from and the community that these things will be helping in a large extent. So that was why I joined the team, and I have not regretted since.
How about you? What?
For me, so my background's in technology, also the software industry, and so I heard Cliff speak. He came to my work and was just really compelled by the idea, and I guess what motivates me is the realization that I could just as easily had grown up in one of these areas, and so how can I use what I've been given and the resources and the talents that I have to help people who are less fortunate than I am.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry, just a quick one. What's the power requirements for this device? Okay, because you know the issues in the rural areas tend to be with power and
exactly. And so for that reason, that's why we wanted to intentionally designed this for what they use today.
The battery.
So when we were kind of taking the requirements for this device, we just noticed that they were often using, and did some other research beyond just Ghana, that these large dry cells were what were most common. On the other hand, we do occasionally run into people who say that they would like to use this in villages that do have electricity, and in those cases, we recommend that they just use rechargeable batteries and charge that off the grid electricity. Or if they have solar projects, charge the rechargeable batteries off solar. But yet the device is able to work with even just if you don't have those sorts of projects, that infrastructure, you can just use regular batteries.
Any more questions for Ali?
All right, that's fine. But what is the power need in terms of wattage? Does it consume that quickly, or it's
no? Yeah, so it's of course it's very, very low power. It depends almost entirely on how loud you decide to listen to it.
Right.
So what that means is if you listen to it in a normal volume, if you listen to it in this room at a normal volume, you'd be able to hear it for maybe 16 hours, something like that. If you listen to it outside, where most people listen to it, and you have it at a volume for a few people to listen, it might last 12 hours. But those are on batteries, not alkaline batteries. Those are on the batteries that people have there, and they last about 20% of a typical alkaline battery. They also cost 20% of the cost. Okay. So someone spends, in US terms, they spend about 35 cents and they get about 12 hours. So it's about 3 pennies per hour in energy. So we have to think about those things all the time, or we're not calculating the total costs of all this. But if you increase the volume, it'll make the batteries will last less long. But if you were increasing the volume, you're probably doing it because more people are listening at once. So that's another way to think about the energy cost per person who's learning something.
Right. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. So it's something you want to say?
Trina, you haven't answered enough things, so why don't you jump in? I know some of the questions were like not as oriented for you, so do you have something you want?
I mean,
All right.
what else do you want to know? I can talk about anything.
Yeah. You want to talk about the evaluation, like something about the report, or I don't know, or anything. What are you most excited about doing in the in the next few months? What do you want to learn?
That's probably
like
what
if
he
we
wants
do.
to know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're the interviewer. You ask the questions. I'm just trying to brainstorm.
So I guess in terms of our pilot, what Cliff presented yesterday in terms of our evaluation, I think what was most exciting for me is that we I think we got better results than we expected going in. It started out as a feasibility study, and we didn't really know what to expect or to know what to extent people would be really applying the results and seeing improved, or applying the guidance and seeing improved results because of it. And so going forward because of that, I think what's most exciting for me is learning how we can be even better. Like, I think I'm really encouraged by what we saw, but what's I think more important is to learn from the things that are mistakes and really reflect on what we did and what we saw, and so we can improve over time, specifically with our partner organizations, and learning how we can take the best practices or sort of the lessons that we learned through our pilot and apply those in other contexts, and to see to what extent they do apply, and to be constantly questioning ourselves in that way. So.
Okay, thanks.